In today's video, I'll hopefully be showing you how to reach Mach 10 in the Darkstar aircraft that was released with the Top Gun expansion pack. I've seen numerous good tutorials across YouTube, but I think there's some steps that people miss out that I need to include to make sure beginners can get into it. Today I'll be hopefully going to Mach 10. It's not guaranteed every time, and you'll probably have to do this a few times before you will get to Mach 10. I've personally reached it twice. Let's see if I can reach it today. I'll be going through every single step from getting this aircraft to controls to getting up into the air at Mach 10, so let's get right into it. Okay, so to start off with the easy bit, if you don't see the Darkstar aircraft in your Microsoft Flight Sim aircraft selection menu, then you will need to download it. Head over to the marketplace, then go to freeware, and you should see the Top Gun expansion there. It's well pointed out, as of course Asobo pushed it recently. Then just download it. You might want to reset your sim to ensure that it's installed correctly. This of course applies to both PC and Xbox. Now hopping in the cockpit, let me give you a little tour. So right in front of us, we've got the primary flight display and all the other secondary displays. You can change it with these three buttons at the top. This is an important screen. We're basically going to be following this profile today. As you can see, we've got how fast we're going, our rate of climb, or rate of pitch I should say, and important things we need to remember. But we'll talk about that later. You don't really need to worry about this page. You can use it if you want, but I recommend using the one you should start with, which is the primary flight display. If you start up and it's all cold and dark, then that probably means you haven't started on a runway. If you start on a runway, your aircraft should look like this. Now moving on to the other buttons, down here we've got our throttle. This will only go to 50% where it says military power at the moment. In order to go 100% power to enable your afterburners or Scram Jets, you'll need to enable an afterburner keybind in controls. This is very important because at the moment, make sure I hold my brakes down while I do this. If I go full power, you can see it holds at 50. You don't want that to happen when you're taking off. You want to be able to enable afterburners, so ensure you do that in settings. Down here we've got our parking brake, which we need to turn off, ready for takeoff in a minute, landing gear lever, which is pretty self-explanatory, and finally we've got an engine monitoring screen that shows up both our contemporary jet engines and our Scram engines. That's it really, that's all you need to know. Down to the right side of the chair, we've got what we'd use to start up the engines and indeed lighting, but we're basically going to leave everything as it is now. You can of course turn off your lights when you're flying above 10,000 feet for stealth purposes. Let me just talk about the Mach profile. I'll run through briefly what we're going to do. So initially for takeoff, we're going to go to 50% power. We're then going to go engage our afterburners with that keybind and go to full power. We'll then follow through with a contemporary takeoff. So pitching up about initially 10 degrees and then putting that gear up. Once the gear's up, we can then pitch up to 30 degrees, aiming for Mach 0.9. It's a pretty standard takeoff, but then of course it comes to the point where you'll realise you're in a supersonic aircraft and you can pitch up to 30 degrees. Once we're at Mach 0.9 as specified, we'll go into an inverted roll for a 1G pull down, as you can see here. In the inverted roll, which normally happens anywhere between 15 to 20,000 feet depending on when we reach Mach 0.9, we'll then pitch down 20 degrees. This is to avoid the impact of negative G on the aircraft, I believe. Of course, this aircraft doesn't exist in real life, although in the movie, Lockheed Martin did help out. It's still pretty much a concept. We'll then flip over and commence our climb again, at a rough rate of 20 degrees. Of course, it's variable, and I'll explain as we go. At this point on the pull-up, we should be pulling anywhere between 1.2 to 1.4 Gs, but normally I pull significantly more. It doesn't really matter in the sim, although of course it would in real life. Once we keep climbing, we'll probably fast forward a bit and then climb up to 120,000 feet. In that time, we will turn on our Scram Jets by going down to our fuel cell, which is here, clicking this button, and then clicking our Scram Jet Enable button. You'll then see an immense boost in power from this aircraft, and hopefully, all things considered, we'll get up to Mach 9 and potentially Mach 10, although it's not guaranteed. As you see in the movie, it's a pretty challenging feat to get to, although I've done it, so it can be done. Now that I've kind of given you your briefing, I think I'm just going to show you That's more like it. We've got a bit more visibility outside for takeoff now. We're going to first release our parking brakes. At this point I'm going to be holding down on the toe brakes if you've got rudder pedals. We're going to do our final checks just looking outside. Come up to 50% power or full power because we haven't enabled afterburners. Release toe brakes and enable afterburners. If you don't enable afterburners you will not get to Mach 1. Pull back, almost coming off the runway there, that's pretty bad, but it's a very, very big runway, so it didn't really matter there. And there we go, we're climbing now. We're going to come up to probably around anywhere between 10 to 20 degrees initially. Get that gear up. You can see we're already at 10,000 feet at Mach 0.83. As soon as we hit Mach 0.9, we can start to do our inverted roll. Although I do prefer to get a bit of altitude so I don't smash into the ground, because you are moving very quickly, more than your contemporary aircraft. Okay, I'm going to wait a bit, and we can probably start that inverted roll now. So roll often to the right, and then once you kind of level off, you're going to want to pull back on your stick to commence a bit of a descent towards the ground. 20 degrees is recommended. If you've got plenty of space that'll be fine. And there we go, we're at 20 degrees or 15 degrees. There we go, 20 degrees now. And now we can flip. We want to flip pretty quickly, don't leave it too long otherwise you'll smash into the ground. And now pull back up. Now the terrain isn't on my side here, so I'm going to get very close to a mountain. But it's okay. Now I did say anywhere between 1.2 to 1.4 G there. You can see we pulled free, so a bit more, but it should be fine. We're still accelerating at an incredible level now. Now for flying this plane, the critical point is Mach 3. You want to get to Mach 3 to enable your Scram Jets. I'm going to fast forward it now because we've probably got to do a bit of a waiting game. You can see we're at Mach 1.44 at the moment, so still a bit of time to go. So while you're climbing, I did fast forward a bit there, you could just make sure you're familiar with the Mach profile. Basically, just follow this through. This is sort of an instruction manual. I know it's a bit confusing, but if you follow this through, you should get anywhere between Mach 9 to Mach 10. As you can see, we're at Mach 2 now, so what I'm going to do is prepare ourselves for the Scram Jets. All you want to do is come down here and turn on your fuel cell, and that will prepare you to turn them on in a minute. Right, we're getting close to Mach 3 right now, so we can enable our Scram Jets by clicking this button. It won't do anything initially, but if we head outside, you can see our contemporary afterburners, and wait a minute for the Scram Jets. You can see they're opening now, and here they come. Yeah, we have our Scram Jets on. And just look at them. We have our Scram Jets on now, they look awesome. Now at this point you're going to start accelerating at an incredible level. As you can see, we're already at Mach 5, or over Mach 5, almost at Mach 6 now. You want to make sure you regain control of your height, okay, because at the moment we're climbing at 81,000 feet. I'm going to push my nose down quite significantly, otherwise we're not going to get anywhere near Mach 9, let alone Mach 10. Now we should be aiming for around 120,000 feet. At that point we're at the perfect height to reach Mach 10. But if you don't reach it there, Microsoft Flight Sim, although ignoring physics, does allow you to climb quite significantly to 250,000 feet, which by that point you should ideally be at Mach 10, and if you're not, there's something wrong. You can see we're at Mach 7 now, so we're definitely the fastest guy in the world. You've started to notice some vapour, and eventually the aircraft should start glowing orange because of course the incredible heat it's under. As you can hear, it's silent from the front and even silent at the back because we're moving that quickly. Okay, we're almost at Mach 9. I consider Mach 9 to be a partial success, Mach 10 to be awesome. There we go, Mach 9 now. Remember, if you don't get to Mach 10 by 120,000 feet, you can keep climbing, although ignoring physics. And you should get there eventually. Be wary of any input you put into the aircraft, because as soon as you push down, like I did there, you'll probably start descending at an incredible rate. Right, we're holding at Mach 9.7. By the looks of it, we're not going to go any faster than that, so I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep climbing. And sooner than later, we should be at Mach 10. But just look at this plane. Well folks, we're almost there, 9.91, not long to go now. I know it's been a long fast forward. 9.97, 9.98, 9.99, and Mach 10. There we have, oh, Mach 10.01 there. There we go, Mach 10, easy as that. It does take a bit of time, but patience is of a virtue, and as soon as you get there, you'll be at Mach 10. You might need to, I mean, it's taking me about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to Mach 10. And just think how fast we're climbing. I couldn't even tell you where we are now. I mean, I'm guessing northern Canada. That's how you do it, folks, how to reach Mach 10 on Microsoft Flight Sim in the Darkstar aircraft on both Xbox and PC. I know this tutorial has been slightly longer than the other ones on YouTube, but I just wanted to make sure that I got every single point down. I can't guarantee you'll hit Mach 10 on your first try, but if you follow through these steps, I'm sure you can do it. It's not that difficult, and of course, you can do the tutorial in Microsoft Flight Sim. From me today, that is all. A big thank you to my first class channel members. I'll see you around. Check out my Amazon affiliate links down below for all the stuff I use to fly, film and edit. But from me today, that is all. Bye bye.